Those who have been to a ruined wedding, what happened? 1. A coworker attended their best friend's wedding, where there were strict rules about the food, no nuts. A few people, including the maid of honor, had severe allergies. Despite the warnings, the venue served something containing nuts. The maid of honor went into anaphylaxis. The EpiPen didn't work, and she tragically passed away on the way to the hospital. Needless to say, lawsuits followed. 2. We went to a wedding for a family member who didn't have much money. It was held at a simple but nice venue. My heart broke when only a third of the invited guests showed up. You could see the hurt on the couple's faces. At one point, they came to our table and asked, "Do you have any friends?" They had prepared food for 100 people, but only 30 came, and they were willing to invite complete strangers just so it wouldn't go to waste. We hadn't given them our card yet, so my husband hit the ATM and added another $100 to it. 3. I'm a wedding photographer. A couple of years ago, I was at a fancy outdoor wedding at a beautiful venue in the middle of nowhere. The location featured a large concrete stairway with water fountains on either side leading down to the altar, giving the bride a dramatic entrance. The ceremony began, and the bridal party took their places. Then the bride appeared with her father. She made it 3 or 4 steps down the stairs before her shoe twisted, and she tumbled down over 12 feet, knocking out most of her front teeth. The venue was so isolated that it took over 40 minutes for an ambulance to arrive, and she was in severe pain. Weeks later, I got an email about the rescheduled date. This time, there were no stairs in sight. 4. The wedding took place at a state park known for its massive gorge and waterfall. At some point, someone suggested taking photos overlooking the gorge, and everyone agreed. The wedding party stepped around a stone barrier, but the maid of honor slipped and fell off the cliff. It was a 500+ foot drop to her death. 5. The bride's father was 45 minutes late to walk her down the aisle. Meanwhile, the air conditioning in the venue broke. It was over 100 degrees outside and unbearably humid. The venue was packed to the brim, and the heat made it even worse. To top it off, the refrigeration system was affected too, so most of the food spoiled. The only food left on the buffet was salad, spaghetti, and rolls, not enough for even half the guests. Most people left after the first dance. 2 of the bride's aunts fainted from the heat. 6. This was a huge wedding with over 300 people in attendance. Turns out, the bride had been having an affair with her cousin's husband. The cousin had known for a while but decided to wait until the wedding to go from table to table, telling everyone about the affair. The groom was completely blindsided. To make it worse, the father of the bride, who was wealthy, had opened a restaurant for the groom. In the end, the groom lost both his wife and his restaurant. 7. I went to a wedding reception and sat near the cameraman. An aunt of mine was seated even closer to him and spent the entire evening gossiping loudly about everyone at the wedding. Much of it ended up being caught on the video. The cameraman delivered 2 copies, one edited and the other completely unedited. That unedited version has since become legendary. 8. The wedding itself was fine, but during the buffet line, people were openly placing bets on how soon the bride would start having affairs. I said 6 months, but I was 4 months over. The marriage lasted only a year.